Thank all of you. Now we're going to start our questions, and I'll start with all of you on this one. In my opening statement, I think I said that the Commerce Department recently released its analysis of the impacts of outdoor recreation as a whole to the U.S. economy, and every state's impacted by it. But several years ago, the Forest Service specifically analyzed the impacts that its project, work, and visitation at each national forest has on local economies. The problem? Haven't done it since 2016. That's the problem. We don't know where we are. So we're, 5 years down the road here and have no idea the impact, which we think is much more enhanced than what it was. Can any of you comment to that, and what's your intentions as far as those in Mr. French and Mr. Lambrecht that have responsibilities for those areas?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. We're on a 5-year cycle to redo those. We do those for every single forest. They're due to be revised within the next 6 months this year. It's part of this year's program of work.
Mr. Lambrecht?
Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Barrasso.
You being brand new, you can really kick him in the butt and get it done quicker, maybe.
So the BLM in 2020, due to recreation activities, provided an estimated impact of $7.7 billion in economic output and supported 54,000 jobs. So that's the latest data that we have available, and it's something that we're constantly tracking. Appreciate the question.
Thank you. Anybody else want to comment on that? Hold on. Ms. Turner?
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that the agencies have budget restrictions, and a lot of, especially Forest Service, has gone to wildfire. But we do think that there's a better way to have data, especially to understand the full economic impact across all agencies that's synchronized, using similar models, comes out at the same time of year. I think one of the biggest things is keeping up with the new users. Climbing is one of those activities that's growing. Perhaps after the most recent Olympics, it'll grow even more. And right now, the visitor model for the Forest Service doesn't even account for climbing.
Do you all share your information or your concerns, and have they been receptive, or have they not been receptive?
I think slightly receptive, but I also think it's hard to have interagency coordination on something like this across all agencies, and especially since some models vary so much and the time of year. So it would be helpful for Congress too.
Well, outdoor recreation is changing so much. You would like to see the agencies change to get this input that we can meet the demands of the people. Mr. Chappelle, you said, I think you want to say.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Why don't you introduce yourself, sir, too, since we don't.
So I'm Reginald Chappell. I am the Acting Assistant Director of Partnerships and Civic Engagement for the National Park Service. And so that includes rivers, trails, outdoor recreation, the land and water conservation.
Are you responsible for making it more friendly so we can all go and enjoy it and not get thrown off?
Yes, sir. That is why I'm here, to have that discussion today, indeed. So let me just tell you a little bit about the National Park Service. We do have a social science directorate that actually is engaged in research. We know that $41 billion in visitor spending happened in 2019, and we're continuing to track that for 2020 and into 2021. We also know that the recreation economy, we generated $21 billion for the GDP there and 1.2 million jobs. So we're continuing to work on that in the National Park Service to actually bring those numbers up to date through our Natural Resource Social Science Directorate.
Mr. French, this is for you. 2 years ago, the committee held an oversight hearing on outdoor recreation, during which we discussed a problem related to the total number of days outfitters and guides can lead trips on federal land. Specifically, we talked about reallocating unused permit days so they weren't wasted. Deputy Chief French, as a follow-up to that discussion after that hearing, I sent you a question for the record, and in your response to that question, you said that the National Forest currently have the flexibility to reallocate unused days. I see that my colleagues, Senator Heinrich's bill on the SOAR Act and Senator Wyden's bill on recreation, not red tape, still contain the provisions authorizing the Forest Service to reallocate unused visitor days. Over 2 years have passed since the hearing. Is this still an outstanding issue, and we haven't heard back from you?
No, we have that authority. We have a process in place right now where we go through periodically and do those user reviews and then reallocate those unused days. But we are working with the committees as this is going forward, providing technical assistance to make that.
What's the time delay? What's the problem? I mean, we've been putting money. You got more money coming in now, and hopefully we're giving you the resources you need. Nobody's coming to work?
No, I mean, I think on this particular issue, at the end of the day, it's just the sheer volume of work and the number of people we have doing it.
Well, people are not coming to work. Senator Barrasso.